Hello, hello. So, what I want to do is share my ayahuasca experience. I just came back for an ayahuasca retreat, and I want to share my experience for those of you who are interested in doing ayahuasca. First, I want to just share why I wanted to take ayahuasca. So the reason I wanted to do an ayahuasca, first of all, it's been in the back of my head for a while, and I knew about ayahuasca for many years prior. I've heard people who have gone to retreats and have taken ayahuasca, and it was very interesting to me, but it wasn't the right time for me at that moment. And there was a time where I was also scared to even do ayahuasca. But the more I heard about it, the more I heard the some of the experiences that people were having, I was really interested in having my own experience with ayahuasca. And so when I searched, I was also searching for places where I felt safe and that I knew that they knew what they were doing. And also something that was important to me was that the ayahuasca that I was choosing was also good quality. I know there's a lot of people out there that might not know exactly what they're doing and might not be using the best quality of that plant medicine. Anyhow, I did a little search and I found a place where I felt comfortable. And so I booked a flight and I went. And so my experience it was interesting. We had a 3 day, which was very short, and that's exactly how I wanted it. I didn't want it to be any longer than that. I think that was enough. Um, and so the first day that I took ayahuasca, of course, those of you who know about ayahuasca, you have to prepare for it. You have to have a certain diet 2 weeks prior, or even up to a month. I did my planning, I did my diet. And the first day that I went into the ayahuasca ceremony, everything was very nice. Everything was very nicely set. And I did feel very safe and very comfortable that day. And so I went into it, I drank the ayahuasca. It was just about this much. It wasn't like the whole cup, it was half of the cup. And I asked it that way. I actually wanted it that way because I'm very sensitive into feeling everything. I've never done like any kind of drugs or any heavily drinking. So I know I'm very sensitive to anything that goes into my body. So anyhow, I took half of the cup, and so at first I didn't feel much. The first few minutes, of course, is just it takes a little bit time to kick in. And what I did feel was my stomach felt kind of weird, and I kind of was wondering whether I was going to throw up or anything's coming out anywhere else. But it didn't, it was very faded. It wasn't like much that needed to come out. So I kind of just sat there and I was just contemplating and feeling into my body and know what I needed to do. But nothing, I didn't throw up, nothing came up. So I kind of just sat there for a little bit and I relaxed. I was sitting, I wasn't laying down because I've heard that if your spine is straight and you're actually sitting in like in meditation, you might receive more messages and you connect better. And that is actually was my purpose. So I had my intentions, they're my own intentions, and I was holding on to those intentions. I was sitting cross-legged, just really feeling comfortable and very aware. And the moment the shamans came in and they started chanting, and they turned off the lights, and we were just sitting there, and the moment they started to chant, that was the moment I felt it kick in. And all of a sudden I was like in a different place completely. I wasn't really able to focus much because I wasn't I didn't know what to expect. And what I experienced was I was feeling very heavy, like somebody was pulling me down, and very, very heavy. And I was seeing a lot of colors and shapes and like geometry shapes, and it was so much. And I wasn't I got so scared because I'm like, where is this coming from? Oh my God. And it felt like I was in like in a box, and there were so many colors and so many things changing at the same time. And it was very overwhelming. And in that moment I started to have like an anxiety attack, and I couldn't feel like I was breathing properly. I started to feel my heart palpitating really quickly, and I started to get very, very thirsty. So I was drinking a lot of water, and everything felt so overwhelming that I really didn't want to be there. And then what I noticed was that I started to hear my own thoughts. All of my thoughts were coming into the surface, like really clear. Like I didn't want to be there. How long is this going to take? I shouldn't have went. And like all of these thoughts were just like crossing over me, but they were so loud. They were so loud. And what I also noticed is that all of my senses were very enhanced. So I could hear very close. Everything was like 3D, not only the visions but also the sounds around. Like I felt like the person next to me was breathing into my ear, or if I heard somebody talking, it was like really close. Everything was so enhanced, and that felt very overwhelming. So I continued to have this panic attack, and just listening to all of my thoughts all at once, like all they kept coming and coming. And so I started to try to like get myself focused and say, hey, you can breathe through this, you can get through this, and you're going to be okay, you are safe. And so I started to focus more there, but I really felt like I was there for hours before I started to really focus. And when I did start to focus, I started to feel like I could feel a little bit better. But then all of a sudden I felt again really bad. It was like an up and down kind of thing. And when it got bad, it got really bad, like really intense. Like I really felt like I didn't want to be there. It was so hard. But then I kept having these ups and downs, and I started to realize that the ups that I was having felt really, really good. So I started to think, okay, well, maybe there's something that I'm doing. I have to like let go, because I noticed that I really didn't want to be there. So I was resisting. And the moment I started to not resist anymore, because I started to notice that the moment I started to feel good, then I started to feel a little bit bad. So the moment I started to feel the sensations of getting like an attack, or not wanting to be there and resisting, I started to say to myself, okay, relax, you're safe, and this is okay. Embrace that feeling anyway, because I was having all these sensations in my body. So what I noticed is I started to let go, and I started to let go, and I started to every time I was tensing up, I would let go a little bit more. And I started to notice that the feeling of resistance started to go away. And so the emotional feelings of feeling bad were diminishing, and they were getting smaller and smaller, until I really felt that like I rised over that, and I was able to overcome that. And then what I felt was like this immense empowerment, like this really intense um feeling of power, feeling of overcoming and strength, and also like kind of like really open to love, and just being, I also felt like my body was so strong, and it can overcome anything, and that anything that I wanted to overcome in my body was um so doable, so able to do it, right? That I was so able to do that. And I started to just focus again in my intention, and asking for clarity for anything that was coming through. I did get some messages which were very personal, some things came to me that were very clear. And then more than anything, I just connected with the chants that the shamans were having, and I started to have the feeling of just wanting to kind of sing. And I felt very alive and very in tuned and and very centered in that moment, like very connected, very connected. And it just felt overall very, very good at the end. So yeah, that was basically my experience with it. I know there's more, but as time passes, I think that things kind of fade away. It's like a dream and you kind of forget a lot of things. Um, and also what I wanted to mention is that I was supposed to take that the next day as well. It was two ceremonies back to back, but the second day I really um, felt like it wasn't the right time for me to take it. And I had the entire day to think about that. I really, at the beginning it was kind of like I didn't want to go through that because I was scared, because I thought I was going to go, I had the thought that, maybe I had to go through all of that again, and I was kind of scared. But then I realized that I knew I was strong enough to do it again. And it's not so much I was scared, but it wasn't the right moment to do it back to back. I felt like if I had more time, I would have just let the time that I had to really integrate everything that I felt and went through. And maybe in a couple of days, try it again. And which I have this in mind. I might try it again some other time, but I wasn't ready to do it back to back. So that was my experience with the ayahuasca. And yeah, I hope that if you're interested. Oh, also, what I wanted to say, this is very also very something that I want to share, is that the second day that I didn't take the ayahuasca, I was also participating in the ceremony, even though I didn't take the medicine. But I want to say that I was feeling so connected. I was feeling the energy of everyone there. I was feeling the love and connection to everyone and the expansion. And I was really, really in tune. So what I do want to say also is that plant medicine is like a tool. It's not going to bring you any it's not like a magical thing that you can, all of a sudden have, anything fixed. So if you're coming with that expectation, it might not be as what you might think. But I think that anybody with the intention of really connecting and sitting and practicing and being in tune with yourself, you can reach that level. You can reach that level, and you can also receive messages. But it is a tool that we can use to enhance and to probably get there faster. That I truly believe. But it's not anything like magical. Like, a lot of people have expectations of, oh, well, I want to go there and see this and that. No, it can be the opposite. Ayahuasca is different for everyone, depending on what your thoughts, your mindset, and what you have within yourself. And some people struggle a lot. Some people have a very, very hard time. This is not something that is for everyone. And that's why it's very important that you follow all of the rules, and really cleanse your body and do the preparation, and mentally have the tools to be in a place where you can handle that, because it might be a hard journey. But other than that, yeah, my experience wasn't that bad, and I am ready to probably try it again sometime in the future, but without any expectations, just really being open and receptive to receive, and knowing that I could do that either without the plant medicine, but also being grateful to have it, and being able to be appreciative of what I am using it. So anyhow, that was my experience, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time, sometime with another journey that I might go through, or anything else I want to share. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.